I'm Harrison Kelly with BYU-Idaho Radio, and I am with Nancy Miller. She's the founder of the Teton Valley Art Market. It's happening in Driggs every Saturday. So thanks for being willing to talk to me about this.
It's every Saturday through September.
Through September.
And then we start doing what we call any sunny Saturday, which means that the valley over there knows that if it's pouring down rain, we're not there, right? But we'll do that through probably November, and then we'll switch to indoors.
Where do you switch to indoors?
In the City Hall, which is the Teton Arts Association Gallery. We switch to indoors where we have 15 or so vendors every single Friday, Saturday.
Wow. So it's a year-round event.
Pretty much year-round.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
What made you decide to launch the Teton Valley Art Market?
We were missing a venue for artists to sell their stuff, and we refer to our market as unchallenged by tomatoes, which means there's nobody in line for the produce stands at the farmer's market. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Unchallenged by tomatoes.
Unchallenged by tomatoes. And so that's you're able to have enough vendors to keep this going on year round.
We have like 45 vendors on our regular season vendor list, and we have another 35 to 45 on our drop-in list, and they call us every week to see if there's room.
So it's a very sought for after fair.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So you have about 40 to 35 extra maybe vendors every week. How has this market grown or changed since the first Saturday you did it?
We thought there would be 10 or 12 vendors, and that's what we were prepared for. In fact, a lot of people wanted to join us, and so it's quite a lot larger than we anticipated.
How did that happen? How did you get it from where it started to where it is now?
Word of mouth. Totally, people who showed up at our market as vendors told their friends, and then they had friends who were artists, and the artists called me, and they were like, hey, I want to come. And we were like, sure, we'll make room. That's all.
And then, so that cap that you have on vendors, that's limited just because of room.
the size of the space. Right. We can fit around 45 vendors in there any given Saturday.
And in the winter, does that size change a little bit?
It changes
does that go
a
down?
lot because we can only fit 15 inside. So I give my regular season vendors 2 or 3 opportunities to pick a weekend, and then we have room for some drop-in vendors.
So that's how you kind of spread the love between all the different vendors in the area.
I try to give the regular vendors who are actually committing their money to be in there all season the first choice of the winter.
Okay.
Makes them happy, makes me happy. I don't have to worry about them.
So aside from the winter, because the winter, of course, you have them select those specific weekends, how do you select the vendors each week to balance the variety?
The seasonal vendors are always welcome to come. They buy their space for the whole summer. And the drop-in vendors is just a rotation as when they call me. Like if you call me 2 weeks ahead, you're for sure going to get a spot. If you call me Friday night to see if you can do it Saturday, well, the odds are not good.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you better have it mostly planned by Friday night, right?
Yeah, I have it mostly planned by Friday morning. Yeah.
So you add and accept new vendors quite often?
All the time. Yeah. Everybody's always welcome to call me, and I just keep a list, and if I have an empty space, I start calling the list.
So I'm sure you probably are familiar with a lot of the same returning vendors, even those that are on the wait list. But are there any times where you've seen a lot of brand new artists that are really trying to showcase their stuff?
Last week I had 13 drop-ins because there was a big show going in Jackson. So 9 of our regular vendors were gone to that show because, bigger vendors. So we had room to take in 13, including 2 12 and 13-year-olds. So we take people, I have vendors everywhere from 11 years old to 93.
Wow.
I know.
And some of those vendors you hadn't had in your show ever before?
Never.
They were just passing through to Jacksonville?
I had a guy stop 2 weeks ago who was an older fellow, probably, he said 89. He pulled up in a spiffy red truck. He parked alongside of the road. He said, can you tell me who's in charge? I said, that would be me. He's like, well, listen, I was on the West Coast doing an art fair. Now I'm headed home to Michigan. I left my tent with my family in Washington State. So I have my whole art fair, but no tent. Can I just pop in for the day? And it's like, of course you can. We'll find you a place. I have a spare tent in my truck always. So we set him up, and he was there for the day. We probably never see him again. He took off and went to Michigan.
That's really interesting. So you just never know who you're going to run into at these fairs.
No.
That's crazy.
No, and artists are pretty gutsy. They'll just ask for what they want. You know, they'll show up and say, hey, can I play?
Well, you have to be. If you're on to put your stuff out there, you have to be pretty bold.
You do. Yeah. Some are regular vendors. We have a nice variety. The only thing that we have a cap on now is jewelry because we really don't want to turn into just a jewelry show. So I added the jewelers. We jury the jewelers. It's like we could maybe take 1 or 2 new ones every summer. Just depends on who drops out.
I was gonna, it's good that you mentioned that because that was one of my questions later on is what varieties of arts do you see at this fair? I mean, I'm sure you have like canvas and you've got jewelry, I
have a saddle maker. I have a leather carver. I have 2 other leather workers who drop in periodically. I have several jewelry girls. That tends to be a more organic look. Then we're not the blingy jewelry outfit. It's not our style there in the Valley. We have several painters. We have 3 photographers that are full season, and then we have a couple of drop-ins. Let's see, we have a glass worker. That would be me. I do fused glass. We have a guy who does just tie-dye, T-shirts, dresses, tank tops, all kinds of fun, hats, handbags, all kinds of fun things. We have a couple of metal workers, people who do laser cut metal and signage and things like that. We have 2 picture framers. Both of them do their own artwork, but they're also framers. So they sometimes have frames for sale, and they have framed work for sale. We have no baker. We have an opening for a baker this year.
No food, huh?
No food. Interestingly, the farmers market has a lot of bakers, but they have a lot more bodies. We have maybe more sales to our customers because we're focused on the art. But it would be great to have somebody that had, say, muffins we could pick up. We had a really great baker, and she's also an ordained minister. So she does weddings, and they're frequently on Saturdays. So she does the winter, but not the summer.
So you have food, but only in the winter because of wedding season.
Right. We have an antler artist who does everything from chandeliers to bottle openers. Really cool. Just a variety, anything you can imagine we probably have. And if we don't have it as a seasoned vendor, we have it as a drop-in vendor.
So a lot of varieties.
Yeah.
You're not going to see the same thing at that.
We have 2 pottery girls. They're hardly ever both there on the same day. They tend to rotate.
Okay.
We could use another potter maybe, if anybody's interested. You can give contact information out if you want to. Yeah, and you have my phone number, and I think you have Claire's as well. But if not, I'll pass that on to you. That way if somebody calls you or they want to listen to you, they can know who to call. Next.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So you have a huge array of artists.
We have a really interesting assortment, including the 2 little younger women do lemonade, kids' jewelry, resin, like resin decorative items. And we're trying to grow a new crew of vendors who will eventually be out of school and become full-season vendors, hopefully. I have a 16-year-old right now who has been doing our art market with her mother for several years. And she makes beautiful little ceramic animals, like under 6 or 7 inches big, right? Not real big. This winter she said to me, I just really want my own booth. I said, fine. Okay, we can make you have your own booth. That's
got a lot of well-seasoned vendors, upcoming vendors coming in.
We're trying hard.
So what does having this weekly marketplace mean for the livelihood of independent artists in the Teton Valley? They
survive the winter because they have an income all summer, and it's a thriving market. I'm going to say my vendors run anywhere from $200 or $300 a Saturday to uphill of $1,000 per Saturday. And I have several who are on that page.
So this really is the funnel of the art community in the Teton Valley.
It is, and we also have a really great customer base in our second homeowners with their house guests. They really fund us well over the summer.
So are you talking people that are seasonal that come in that are...
People who own a second home in the valley are probably our biggest dollar demographic. They show up. But we also have locals who show up every single week, same people. They know there's always going to be something different. And, they come to see what's going on.
So I saw that this fair is put on by Buster Skincare. Is that what you're a part of?
She is one of my vendors.
She's one of the vendors. So you don't work with Buster Skincare at all?
Well, only in that she shows up and is a vendor. She's probably doing promotion because she does other things outside of our market. Like I know she just did a tea making thing with one of the hotels in Jackson a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
So she's always stirring up some interesting new fun thing. But yeah, so we also have two skincare people that are consistent. Barkay, who owns the Buster Skincare, is a regular. Terry, who owns a different Bath and Body, is a regular drop-in.
Okay.
I say she's a regular drop-in.
So you said you do glass work and you sell that at the market. How do you wear those two hats? Being the organizer, the founder of the market, and also running that?
Well, let's see. That's why I'm passing it on to Claire, is because running the market takes a solid 2 days of administration every single week. Just organizing and, dealing with the taxes and dealing with the stuff. So it's a challenge. I get there early, I set up my booth, and I share it with a spinner and weaver who actually demonstrates hand spinning. And she has worked in various stores that I've owned in Teton Valley for years. So she can step in and deal with somebody if I have a customer at my booth, because she's right next door. So that's partly how I manage.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
It's kind of busy, right?
Because super busy.
You have to prepare for it, but then you also have to still do your own sort of work.
I have to make my own. And I teach classes 2 or 3 times a week.
Really? Where at?
In my studio at home.
Yes, so you have a studio at home that you also teach art out of.
I have a 600 square foot studio that I do furniture refinishing because I'm a dump salvager. And I also do, the majority of it is my glass fusing studio and classroom. And then I'm also a painter, so I do some painting there and some sign painting as well.
Just a very well-rounded artist.
It's either that or get a job.
That's right.
Right? I don't want a job.
I don't blame you. You do what you love.
You do
right?
what you love. Then it's really not work.
Yeah. So I know earlier you talked about how you've seen some of these like young kids that have started their own, that want to do their own
Correct.
vendor. You've also seen really old people come in and just say, hey, I want to offer my stuff. Is there like a specific vendor story or success story from this season that really...
I don't know that there's a specific story, but the general story is that most of the vendors have done it for a fairly long time, whether they started out as a creative child or that was what they wanted to do instead of the job they had. So they've been doing it on the side and they've just decided to sell it. I would say 2 of my best vendors, my saddle maker, we found him on salvage day at the dump, right? He was gathering pallets for fixing fences, right? And we started talking to him because he was near us. And he said, oh, yeah, I'm a leather worker. I make saddles. And my girlfriend Abigail said, how come you're not doing the market? He said, what market? Well, he just lives a few blocks away, but a guy, that wasn't his path on Saturday. So we talked him into coming, and now he's probably one of my most successful vendors. He's really, really good at what he does. He always brings 2 or 3 handmade, custom-made saddles, plus a lot of other, everything from key rings to saddles.
So he sells everything leather work at this.
He does.
At this market. Wow. Yeah. What kind of, so in your mind, because you founded it, what kind of economic or social impact have you seen the market have in drinks?
I'm going to say the market probably contributes well over $500,000 to the community over the season, the summer season. Because money in general rotates 4 or 5 times through the community that it's acquired in. The vendors do pretty well. They wouldn't be necessarily living in Teton Valley because the Teton Valley is very expensive. The price of housing has gone astronomically up. in the last years, and they couldn't afford to live if they weren't selling their merchandise, whatever it is they've chosen to make. So we're keeping valuable community members in the community. We're also supporting indirectly the restaurants, the hotels, the things, because people who come to market spend the night, they go out to eat, they shop otherwise. You know, they rotate around town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. So it really kind of like brings the community together, the economy together.
We're a thing. We are. We're definitely something. People tell me that we're the best regional market in Idaho.
That's huge.
It is huge.
Yeah.
It is huge. I have people that drive over from here, from Rexburg, from Idaho Falls, most weekends to shop at the market. Well, they don't just do that because we're like Granny Craft. They do that because they know they're going to find things they want to buy. Not that there's anything wrong with Granny Craft, but they're not necessarily what our customers are looking for, you know. So I think we contribute in a large way, you know.
Okay. Now, you talked about how you're handing the reins over to your colleague. Mm-hmm. Where do you want to see this go in the future?
You know, I told her I would not micromanage it. I hate it when somebody dumps something on you and then tells you how to do it, right?
Yeah.
Where I would like to just see it continue doing what it's doing. She may take it somewhere more digital. She's 40 some odd years younger than I am. So I would expect that, I know she's already set up a new website for us. She's a web designer. She's also an arts administrator with the city of Victor with several different regional artists in our valley. So she's involved with the arts community pretty much. I'm hoping that she doesn't lose vendors because she changes things, but that's up to her. Like I'm gonna continue to do the market, but not every week. And if somebody comes and asks me a question, I'm sending them to her because that's really her job. Now, after September, you know, I will continue to run the Christmas markets, but that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I want to know this.
Yeah.
If someone's driving through town on a Saturday morning, or even if they live just close by, they don't know about this, they haven't stopped by, they haven't been to this, what's your pitch to have them come to the Teton Valley?
You know, we don't really have a pitch. We are set up a half a block from the only stoplight in town. We have a ton of parking behind the senior center in the city hall. So anybody who's driving by sees a sea of 40 some odd tents. Hopefully they're going to stop. We put up signage. We do a lot of online advertising. We post all over the place. We do a lot of point of purchase advertising, like signage right in our vicinity. So I'm just hoping they stop because they see us, and they do.
That was an interview with Nancy Miller, the founder of the Teton Valley Art Market. The market runs year-round and showcases local artists. For more information on the market, go to Teton Valley Art Market on Facebook.